Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video. My name's Dion and today I'm going to be going through this month's trades. So I made a total of 6 trades which have been completed. I've made one trade today. It's still May, but it's currently running, so I'll go into that trade after I review these 6 trades which I've made. So usually I do a forecast and review every week. This week I missed it, so I'm going to make up for it and just talk about all the trades which I've taken. So I'll document every single trade I take. In this case and in this video, I'm going through my entries and my exits. So let's get straight into it. Here we have, as you can see on the top left, is trade 1 entry. This is on the 15-minute time frame, and this trade was taken on the 4th of May. So I have my reasonings behind this trade. This is on the smaller time frames, so I do have a larger time frame one after, but I'll just quickly go into this. You see the exit, you have the entry, and you have the take profit. My exit was obviously, because I was short selling this, my exit was above the last high. The reason why I took this trade is because you see lower highs. So we have this area here, a key area which price rejected multiple times, which you will see on the larger time frames. This was a high. Then it made a lower high here, and then another lower high. So this is like the third lower high coming off of this important resistance. We also have price around the weekly level, as we have here. And pretty much, it couldn't stay above the weekly level. We had the break above, we had the retest, and we saw price trying to push its way up, but it didn't have enough strength, so it fizzled back downwards, and that is sort of where I took my entry. Once price came back below, and broke through the next significant level, which is the 0.775, which you can see here just above the entry. So when I did enter, I went into small drawdowns here, but all that drawdown was telling me was that we're making a smaller time frame lower high, and then price pushed back down, and then I went into profits there. So this is what it looked like on the higher time frames. This is the important resistance which I was talking about. We saw rejections here, here. So pretty much 5 rejections to this area. We saw the break below the weekly level, and it was on this pullback. We had this pullback from the last take profit, which is 0.77, and then we made this lower high at this weekly area, and we had strong rejection from there, as we saw in the smaller time frames, and that's why I entered. This green arrow just represents the larger take profit. So this was my main target, which I don't think it is now, but at the time of this trade, which was on the 4th of May, it was the main target. Okay, so this is the second trade which we have. By the way, most of these trades which I'm talking about, you can see me go through them in live action and actually taking them and talking about them as I'm taking them in my vlogs and my other videos, but this is just sort of a recap. So pretty much what I saw here was price was making its way up. So this is that main resistance which I was talking about before, I'm pretty sure. So we had broken above it. Now my whole thesis was that price in this area here, this whole thing was just a fake out. So I was still bearish despite the higher highs and higher lows. We saw price shoot up, and I was like, this is the fake out. Saw it create this box of consolidation. It broke above, and I was still thinking, no, this is a fake out. If you find the video, then you will sort of understand why. Pretty much to run you through quickly, what I was thinking was, I saw price break above this box of consolidation. So I was thinking that if it was to continue to the upside, we would need to make a higher low. And off that higher low, which is more than likely going to be off the top of the box, so it would have came up, stopped here, and then made its way up. If that was to continue, then I would have had went long. But you can see we had a bearish engulfing candle at the top, which engulfed like 2 candles. We broke right through the box and found slight support here at this level of support. Price broke through, came up and retested. If I show you on the smaller time frames, that would be a clear break and retest, turning a support into resistance. And then price started making its way down, and with this next bearish engulfing candle, that's when I placed my entry. So this is what it looked like on the higher time frames. You can see this is the main resistance, and we had multiple rejections. We had that break up, but due to this strong bearish candle, for me that was also the sign of the fake out, and this is how the trade turned out. So I did actually lose this trade, and even if I was to have like a larger, more breathing room for my stop losses, I still would have been taken out by this area here. Alright, next trade. What this looks like to me is I can see like a head and shoulders pattern forming. The right shoulder being of like this area, which we previously had created a strong resistance at. So price is in an overall downtrend from the 0.8 level. You can see lower lows, lower highs. We had this strong double top forming, and then we had this sort of break, this fake out sort of thing. Came up, came back down, gathered liquidity, made its way back up, and then found rejections, or found like strong area here. So yeah, it did come up to a strong area of liquidity, and pretty much what I did was I used an indicator to give me some ideas as to where, like, what volume is looking like around this area, and there was a lot of like negative, like, selling pressure around this area. So what I saw was the fake out, price came down, found strength to come back up, and from there making a lower high from the last high, and also forming a head and shoulders pattern. So for me, that was a pretty clear trade. We'll see how it turned out. So you can see we did break through the weekly level, and it hit my take profit. Now, moving away from AU, we have gold. What I saw here, just to break it down real nice and simple, is this triangle pattern which was forming on an uptrend. This is on the daily, as you can see. Pretty much the way I like to trade these is when the price breaks the triangle, it makes its way up to the peak high, which is this area here. Now, on its way to the peak high, there will be some areas of resistance, which are usually the areas that touch the trend line, the descending trend line. What I saw here was price form like a candle of indecision, and then I decided to line up this area with these previous tops. And when we saw price come up to these areas, this is when we saw the sharp drop down. So for me, I was like, okay, what if price is going to find resistance at this area and then form its like higher low from here? Because at the moment it's been very bullish. It shot right up, broke through the triangle, but we haven't had that solid pullback yet. So the whole point of this trade, the whole theory and thesis behind it was, I feel like this push here was the break of the triangle, and I wanted to catch the retest. So this is a closer view of the trade. I pretty much put my stops above the last high, and I was targeting down to the trend line, or pretty much where the trend line met this area of support. Now, price didn't really do what I wanted to. You can see here the weekly close. There was a weekly close above the level, which I didn't want price to close above, and that invalidated the trade, so I closed it for break even. Now, here is another trade which I took, which I forgot to get the entry, but from what I can see here is we saw a rejection to the weekly level, and then a bearish engulfing candle. So for me, that's saying, oh, we like, it's a strong area of resistance, and it's going to make its way down. Price started making its way up. I must have made my entry somewhere around here. We saw another tap to the level, and for me, I was about to do a second entry, I'm pretty sure, and sell again. I'm glad that I didn't, because price made a higher low here and then broke above the level. Now, this is a more recent trade, which I took sometime last week. You can see here, head and shoulders, the right shoulder touched into liquidity, then dropped. So I'm referring to this area here. It's a head and shoulders pattern, touched into the area of liquidity, then dropped. Didn't have enough strength, so it came up to grab more. So pretty much price didn't, like, it collected the orders and the liquidity from up here, tried to crack down and make a solid push, but all it was doing was forming higher lows. So it couldn't really gather enough strength. So price came back up to try and grab more strength before making its push down. So you see here, there was that strong rejection to the 0.78 and the weekly level. So this is the weekly level here, 0.78. We saw price come up to the point, just past the 0.78, but then rejected it down there and broke past through the weekly level. And we closed below the weekly on the daily. So that's a pretty strong indication for me that price is going to be bearish, and targets the 0.77, because 0.77 for me is just a place where I find the Aussie dollar likes to head to if it's heading in that direction. Now, this is a trade which I didn't capture the exit, but pretty much we did hit 0.77, and price went a little bit below there, but ultimately reversed. So here's another gold trade. It's pretty much the same exact setup. but at a different spot. Now I don't seem to have the exit for that, so that's strange. I don't actually remember how this trade played out. I think I closed it at either it was for small profits or pretty much break even again, I think. And here's the trade which I'm in currently. We've had price dip into this strong area of liquidity, strong push up, and pretty much I'm capitalizing on the bounce from this area to the last high, or past the last previous highs, like the right shoulders, and making its way up to the next area here, where I feel like price will come up and sell off. So yeah, that's just my trade theory. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is just the 6 or 7 trades which I went through. As you can tell, I am sounding a little bit sick right now, hence the lack of content over the past week. Also, I started a job and I'm working like 4 days a week. It's a lot of hours. It's good fun. I'll probably make another update video talking about how I'm juggling my trading and work and all this and that. But so far, so good. I have a very, very important month coming up. June is the last month of the second quarter. I have a few goals I want to hit. There's some other really important stuff I want to talk about, but I'll probably save that for another video. So yeah, I'll probably film another video just to update everyone on how everything's going, all this and that. I have made a couple changes to my trading, or like life updates or whatever, so I'll probably update you guys about that too in the next one. So I'll probably catch you in that one next time.